The manhunt for the suspect behind the Devil's Den double homicide now in its fifth day. The crime continues to send shockwaves through our community and grab even some national attention.
Tonight, as we enter day 5, many questions still remain unanswered. 5 News reporter Bo Russell is in the newsroom to bring us up to speed. Bo.
Darren, Morgan, I've been talking with residents all week. They've really been shaken up, especially given how much people in the area love to go to Devil's Den. Through social media posts to viewer emails, it's clear the public is eager for answers. In this case, now we're breaking down the key details of the investigation and asking crucial questions that have still not been addressed. Law enforcement has released a composite sketch and a photo of the person of interest in this case. According to police reports, the man in question was seen leaving the area in a black four-door sedan with its license plate obscured by tape, leaving one of the park's 2 exits.
He couldn't have driven maybe 10, 15 miles with that on. It would raise suspicion for law enforcement or even a passerby who had the knowledge to say, wait a second, this gentleman's covering his plate. But at some point, he had to probably pull over, service station of some sort of business, cover his license plate to gain access to this park.
A minimal suspect description and victim identification essentially covers the information released by Arkansas State Police in the 5 days since the killings. Many people want to know why troopers haven't said more.
It makes me lose hope because, it's Devil's Den, there's no cameras, no service. It's very easy for someone to just come and go out of there. I'm just hoping that they maybe have information that we don't know about.
On Saturday, it took 6 hours for police to release an official statement regarding the double homicide. They say it took so long because of poor cell service in the park. West Fork Police Chief Justin Goggins says information may be slow to get out because of how much law enforcement is having to sort through.
I can't imagine the amount of information they're having to go through and sort through. Yeah, I'm just trying to be patient with investigators. They're going as quick as they can, I'm sure, trying to go through all the information and put it out as quick as they can.
Fugitive recovery expert Patrick McCall says it's common for law enforcement to keep details confidential in an active investigation.
Typically, law enforcement probably does have some more details pertaining to this individual than they've released to the media or to the press.
Another concern for many local residents is public safety. Chief Goggins describes this incident as an act of, quote, random violence.
That's what appears to be random. Violence is atypical. And I think that's why it really kind of rattles us and shakes us.
McCall suggests the chances of this happening again are slim.
If you look at statistics, the chance of this happening again are probably very slim. This looks like a lone operator or a lone wolf, as we call it, that did this horrific crime. I don't think this individual is going back there and plotting to do something else again.
Criminology expert Dr. Angelo Brown also offers reassurance that Devil's Den is currently safe.
This park is probably safer now than it was previously because there's going to be extra police, people just paying attention more.
According to the report sent by ASP, the attacker is believed to have been injured during the attack. I've called and emailed state police asking how they came to this conclusion, but have not received a response. I've also asked officials how the photo released yesterday was obtained and questions about the backpack seen in the picture. As the community grapples with grief, park visitors like Christine Davis are reflecting on the tragedy.
It's very somber out here. It's you feel guilty, really, for being here, and your heart goes out to the families.
The Brink family has released a statement calling Clinton and Kristen, quote, heroes protecting their little girls. A verified GoFundMe campaign has been launched by family members to assist with funeral expenses and provide for the children. Authorities are urging anyone who visited Devil's Den on Saturday to check their photos or videos for images that might match the suspect and vehicle descriptions. Chief Goggins is stressing the importance of community vigilance.
It's not about the tools or the weapons, it's about the mindset. And the biggest part of that is being aware. So when you see something that's out of place, and I know it's kind of a catchy saying, see something, say something, but it's absolutely true. That's what makes these cases.
Yesterday, Nick Genty with Arkansas State Police told me to please send in tips to ASP Troop L and that no tip is too small. We will continue to follow this investigation closely and bring an update as soon as one becomes available. I'm Bo Russell, 5 News.
All right, Bo, thanks. You can follow developments on the manhunt with 5 News Plus. We'll bring you live updates as they come into the newsroom. A Washington County jury finding a Fayetteville man guilty of capital murder. Kievon Jared received a life sentence in the death of Edwin Swan. Murder trial began Monday with jury selection, opening statements, and went to the jury late last night. Well, after a few hours of deliberation, jurors came back with that guilty verdict. Investigators say surveillance photos helped link Jared to the deadly shooting outside a McDonald's in July of 2022. He was arrested 3 days later after an attempted armed robbery at the Workman's Travel Center there in Rudy in Crawford County. Shooting in Fayetteville claimed the life of Edwin Swan. The 28-year-old's family shared this photo of him with us right after the deadly shooting. You can find all of our coverage on this case at our website at 5newsonline.com. Former Oklahoma Governor George Nye has died at the age of 98. His career in Oklahoma politics lasted more than a half century, including 2 terms as governor from 1979 to 1987 and as lieutenant governor and a state representative. No cause of death was provided. He's expected to lie in state at the Oklahoma State Capitol Rotunda on Monday. Plans for a funeral and memorial service will be announced at a later date.
Well, U.S. interest rates will continue to hold steady. The Federal Reserve kept the benchmark unchanged for another month. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell made the announcement after today's meeting. Powell and 8 other board members voted to leave rates the same, but 2 members wanted a rate cut, marking the first time in 30 years 2 policymakers have dissented.
On the dissents, what you want from everybody and also from a dissenter is a clear explanation of what your thinking is and what are the arguments you're making. And we had that today. The majority of the committee was of the view that inflation's a bit above target, maximum employment is at target. That calls for modestly restrictive, in my way of thinking, modestly restrictive stance of policy for now.
While rates remaining unchanged means it will remain expensive to borrow, there is one positive. When interest rates are high, many banks will offer higher annual percentage yield on saving accounts. Jen Sullivan explains how you can grow your savings faster while rates are high.
Wednesday, the Federal Reserve announced they're keeping interest rates between 4.25 and 4.5%.
Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated.
This means it will continue to cost consumers more to borrow money for things like a mortgage, car payments, even credit card debt. But there is some good news. When interest rates are high, many banks will offer higher annual percentage yields on savings accounts, which means you can grow your money faster.
It's not a bad time to be putting your money towards investments to let it grow.
Bankrate financial analyst Stephen Cates says now is a good time to look into high-yield savings accounts and certificate of deposit accounts known as CDs. Basic savings accounts have an average annual percentage yield of 0.56%, but a high-yield savings account can pay upwards of 4% annually. The higher the rate, the more interest you'll earn on your savings. This Bankrate graph shows how much a top-yield savings account outpaces the average savings rate. So let's crunch the numbers into this Bankrate calculator. If you move $5,000 into a high-yield savings account and contribute $200 a month over a 5-year period with an annual percentage yield of 4.25%, in 5 years, you'll have made nearly $2,500 in interest.
You're getting a really healthy yield compared to where we were over the last, 15 years.
Beware that the bank can change the percent of interest you earn. In a CD, the rate is typically fixed for a specific period of time. In both types of accounts, there may be restrictions on how much and when you can withdraw those funds. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.